Hello and welcome to today's session. Before we begin on the brain communication model, let's get a brief introduction of the International Internship University. IIU is a leading virtual educational system and a global brand confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide. It is well reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners over the globe. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in around 195 countries and 6 continents under the able leadership of its visionary leader, Mr. Piyush Pandit sir. He is a committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist, and from the last 2 decades, he has been providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity and making this platform available to me and many more like me. We start the session now. I'll just share my screen. Today we'll learn about how our brain actually communicates. I'll put it on slideshow. Yes. When we say about communication, we usually feel it is two people who communicate. Here, I want to make a point. The communication happens between two brains, and the communication pattern of the brain is completely different from what I and you know. Let's understand this in detail today. There are 2 lakh bytes of thoughts which enter our brain at every moment. During this entry of thoughts, the brain tries to take all of them, and that's why it becomes challenging for the brain to accommodate all these thoughts in their own way. The most important steps in the communication are how we receive our information, how we process on it, like what are the steps that the brain goes through, and later how it influences the way we respond to this process and we communicate to the external outside world. Reality changes from person to person, time to time, and event to event. So actually, how we process the information makes us respond to it rather than how the event occurs in the exterior of our brain. Anything that our sense organs are not able to take up, we would not take it in our brain. This means the 5 sense organs are the gateways to our brain. They are the entry doors, and every bit of information enters our brain through them. So if these are the doors and they miss out on something, definitely that's not going to enter your brain. This is because scientifically, neurologically, our senses have a limitation. For example, your eyes can see about 180 degrees of vision and cannot note what's going behind. Sometimes you even miss to see what's visible because at that moment, the brain is focusing on something specific and misses out on registering the lesser important part. Thus, we are unable to observe any reality completely. This also means our ears, our smell, taste, everything has a limitation. This takes us to a number of filters that are there in our brain. When we move from our external event, something that is happening outside, and the information has moved inside, there are filters that are already working inside our brain. The basic and core filter that we have in our brain is our values. Our values help us to differentiate between what's good and what's bad. They tell us something that we are doing is right, permitted, or it could be wrong. So values become a deciding benchmark to agree to a new knowledge or piece of information. Similarly, our beliefs about how the things are going on are already prepared in our brain. This means some beliefs that we hold on to are keeping us away from what all we want to achieve. Though some beliefs are empowering. One beautiful example which I would like to share is women can't drive. This is just a belief. It's not that all women in the world can't drive. It is the women I know can't drive. So this thought can make a limitation, can bring a limitation to what we have to do in a particular situation. Or all those who speak don't act is a limiting belief. So we might get stuck up in these filters. Our memories are one strong filter for every event that comes from the outside. When I was small, maybe I fell down from the top of the hill, on the top of the hill. And now I suppose that every time I'll climb up something, I'll climb up to the top of the hill, I am bound to fall. This is a memory. And if these memories are woven into a chain, it is a chain of events, chain of memories that stops me from trying something new. The sad part is, though this event has occurred 5 to 7 years back, 10 years back, 20 years back, that time the resources I had was very different. And today the resources that I have is completely different. So the memories could remain, but the effects would change. Some decisions are also strong filters. The decisions that we make or have made in our past have created or shaped our beliefs. Once on the road, when I was driving, I decided to put hold. I decided to apply the brakes. And in doing that, there occurred an accident. So this decision was a wrong decision. And now my belief is I can't drive when there is a lot of traffic on the road. So my decisions, previous decisions in particular events can guide me in a right or wrong manner because they have helped shape up my beliefs. Let's understand the processes that the brain goes through after these filters work upon the external event that has occurred. The first important process that the brain undergoes is the process of generalization. The word generalization means you take a specific happening or understanding and apply it to a broader arena. That means if something is true for one aspect or one person, I apply it to all the other situations. Some beautiful examples of generalizations are, I have a teacher who is strict, and I just say all teachers are strict. So what I know about one or what I know about a few is what I'm applying to many at the same time. Whereas that cannot be true every time. Another example, which is a very common one, mathematics is a difficult subject. Maybe it's difficult for 10% of the people. Maybe it's difficult for one part of the world. Maybe it's difficult for one strata of society, but that cannot be applied to everyone all through. So our brain undergoes this process of generalizing things, and this is the process which works on any external event. The other process that the brain goes through is deletion. Deletion is a process by which we selectively decide to pay attention to some part of the event or the happening, and in this doing, we actually miss out on some part. So this is a deliberately done act, but it's a habit of our brain. So when you delete some part, you miss out on a part that could have otherwise been important. And this leads to our impression of whatever is going on outside. We have a wonderful example. When a TV serial episode is going on, and suddenly there is a sound of a huge vessel getting dropped in the kitchen. Now, if 4 to 5 persons in the family are watching the television serial, 2 of them might suddenly shift to the big sound created due to the falling down of the utensil. Whereas the remaining 3 members decide to continue watching the TV serial. That means all of them have responded in a different way, because for the 2 who got distracted by the sound, they deleted the sound of the television for the moment and focused on the sound of the utensils. Whereas the remaining 3 persons actually did not notice the sound. The reason being, their brain automatically deleted the sound of the utensil falling down, which the brain thought was less important. Thus, deletion is a process that our brain commonly goes through and we never even come to know. Distortion. Distortion is a beautiful process where we conveniently modify what's happening and change it to our convenience. We fail to see the real map or real happening in the event. In distorting something, we actually work on its originality. We change the originality and we see what we want to see. We hear what we want to hear. And this absolutely changes the complete event that's happening. For example, a man walking on the road sees what he believes to be a snake and shouts out, "Save, there's a snake here, help, help." After a couple of minutes, as the man moves towards the object which he assumed to be a snake, he realizes it's just a piece of rope. That means his distortion led him to see the piece of rope as a snake. This means our brain actually sees what we want to see and not that is being shown or being happening around us. One beautiful example of generalization we could just understand. I have a belief nobody likes me. One day, what happens is I see one of my friends walking on the road, and I'm so happy that I am meeting this friend of mine after a long time. So I just shout out, "Hello there." And this person starts walking faster away from me. Now, please note the happening in my brain. Because I carry a belief nobody likes me, and I notice the change in action of my friends, I realize or I feel this friend of mine is ignoring me. But the truth is, the friend of mine has earphones in his ears and has not at all heard my call. And you know why he's walking faster? Because he wants to catch the bus. In this way, my belief controls what I have to feel, what I take from the event, though the external event, the reality is completely different. So most of the times, this memory, this event also keeps on disturbing us for days after the event. I keep on wondering, why did my friend behave like this? Have I done something that has made him or her feel that I am ignoring her or him? Have I in any ways annoyed my friend? Is she really upset about my behavior? Or is he really trying to avoid me? And thus, one simple act leads to so many, misleads to so many events or understandings. So these are the three processes that lead our brain to form a new picture in our brain, that is generalized brain. In generalization, what happens is we take something specific, something that is already in our mind, and we apply it broadly. So this, it is seen, everything is seen from one particular telescope, one particular vision band. In deletion, it's about something getting selective attention, and the dimensions of our experience exclude the unwanted parts. During distortion, what we do is we conveniently see what we want to see. That means we change our perceptions by using our sense organs very smartly. Thus, what happens is the interpretation of the received information gets mapped with the generalizations, and our brain feels it is working to its best possibilities because it is what our generalization demanded. By these three processes, what is created is our internal representation. From here, we would refer to it as IR. Now, friends, please understand the external event was ER. The internal representation is IR. This is my created version of the event. Every person's IR will be different because his or hers set of filters, set of processes is different. Therefore, what we understand is IR is the created version of any event that occurs outside. And this IR is now responsible to make us respond to a particular event in a particular fashion. That means it is not the event that makes us respond or react, but it is our IR of that event that actually creates a certain state of mind, and that defines our physiology. Our state of mind, thus created, determines what would be our further behavior or further action. So up till now, we understand the ER, the external event, is now converted into IR, and that's different for each person because every person's brain works in a different manner. And why are these differences? It's because of the filters and the three processes that work as per these filters. Now let's understand what happens to the event, the internal representation of the event. Most of the times, the event is not the problem. I feel so bad when someone doesn't smile at me. I feel ignored when I'm not given due importance. The same happens in our classroom. The same happens in amongst our colleagues or teammates. Their IR is different and we create a different IR of the event. Let's remember, or let's suppose and move ahead, the problem is never the external event. It is the internal representation of that event that I have created. This means whatever you are in life, wherever you are in life, it is due to your IR. If you're doing good, see that your filters are working in the right manner. If you're really facing issues around you, outside you, it's a call to awaken yourself. Please work on your IR. Please work on your filters. Please make your filters serve you, because these are the ones who will lead you to the right perceptions. And you know what? We have been bestowed by nature with the ability to naturally change our IR all the time. It's an auto process, but we do get entangled by holding on to some beliefs which are limiting beliefs or disempowering beliefs. So as a learned class of the society, each one of us needs to hold on to the empowering beliefs, the empowering memories, and let go of those which are really limiting ones or disempowering. With processes and filters, we can change our IR, and this change in our IR will definitely empower us to make the right decisions, to stay satisfied, to be happy with the present, and not to get entangled either in the past or wait for things to change on their own in the future. The beauty is, it is a naturally set process. What we need to do is, we need to build our awareness and act from our conscious beingness to operate or to train our brain to be the best communicator. And the beauty is, our memories can be made weak. They are fragile in nature. But when? Only if you want to let go of them, not if you want to hold on to them and operate from their point. So a learning for us today is I am in charge of my IR. That means I am in charge of the response that I will give to any external event or person. As we move further, let's understand this entire concept on a one-page mind map. If you can see here, it's the brain, is the human brain. And now let's understand how it works. We have so far understood the elements of external event, filters and processes, internal representation, how it is or how it leads to state of mind, and then how our behavior or actions are seen to the outside world. The first happening that is here is the external event. And how do we receive those external events? 5 sense organs that are the gateways give us the external event. When any external event enters the brain through these organs, a variety of filters are protecting or allowing this event to pass through. These filters, as we just understood, our values and beliefs, our memories, our decisions, to that matter, all the knowledge that we have up till now. Also, the time and the space in which the action is happening, the event is occurring. Because it was a different time before and it is different today. The energy level at that point of the event happening is also something that is new today. The language, because the processing of the brain is highly linguistic in nature. So the coding, decoding of any event in the brain also is dependent on language. The barriers come due to various languages also. Above all, our attitude of receiving any information, receiving or facing any event defines how we are going to create our internal map, internal event of that particular external happening. This event is then processed. The 3 processes are generalization, applying to a bigger scale, distortion, change, modify, and look at it as we want, and delete, conveniently pick up what we require. So when any content, any information goes through these processes, our IR is developed. So our internal representation is a new picture that is created in the brain. Now, this internal representation of the action is a two-way code. One, this internal representation leads to prepare my state of mind. It gives the signal to my mind, to my brain, to prepare the answer. Example, if someone hits me hard, my internal representation due to my filters and due to these processes is, how dare you hit me? And this IR changes my state to a negative mindset or to a defensive mindset, and this defines my action, my physiology. I gather all the power that I have now because now I want to respond to the IR, how dare you hit me? And if you have hit me, I'll hit you back. So now my physiology is, I want to respond to an act of hitting by another act of hitting. My behavior, my emotions are, I want to rebel, I want to attack, I want to take revenge. My emotions are highly negative. My behavior moves on to unacceptable behavior. It could also have been that there was an insect sitting on my shoulder and my friend wanted me to be saved from that insect bite and just hit me hard. Now, this completely changes the IR. If I have seen the external event in the way it is, I repeat, if I have seen the external event as real as it is, the way it is, instead of applying my filters, assumptions, I would have responded by saying, oh, thank you. Otherwise, the bee could have bit me hard. And thank you. I'll always remember you as a good friend of mine. So it's the IR that changes our behavior. It's the IR that defines our response to any action. The state of mind now controls the physiology and the behavior. Let's take a reverse example, friends. In some behavior, see what happens is, my mother, let's take example of a child. The mother of the child is shouting at the child just because he does not complete his homework. Now, the child is noting the behavior and the child is also responding to this behavior. The child is like, he is very submissive. He doesn't want to, argue with his mother. So it's just like, I would not argue. Now, if my behavior is this, my energy levels, my state of mind is also low, because this is the way I am with my behavior. My body language, my physiology, energy is also in a low tone. That's why my IR is also very weak. And if my internal representation of anything is weak, my external event that happens around will not enter with the right amount of energy or will not be taken in the right spirit. This means if a change in IR can bring a change in your physiology and behavior, a behavioral change can also bring a change in the IR. This goes best for teachers and students. If the students carry a misinterpretation of what are my teacher's actions or words, it is in the teacher's hands to change the behavior, which in turn will help set up a positive mindset, a healthy state of mind, which will help create the right IR in the child's brain. And a child with the right IR will definitely be able to use all his filters in the right way to judge, work on, or face or fight any external event. So the message here for all of us is, we can work on the filters. We can let go of the unwanted limiting filters. We can actually work on not processing information, but by deleting, distorting, or generalizing. We can train our brain to treat any person or event as is in a reality form and not judge anyone from his or her previous actions, so that every moment, every day, every event, and every person will be dealt by us in a way that is very practical, that is very natural, and this will give us a complete ease of operating from a non-judgmental base. And you know what the beauty is? That's how we are made as human beings. We are made without any filters. But as we grow from childhood to adulthood, we define these filters and we get so much control over them that finally they start controlling our understanding of any event. So let's all decide today that I'm going to keep my filters clean, because if my filters are so filled up, then any new information coming to my brain will always be processed by these filters, and I might lose out on the best opportunities that are available to me. When I'm dealing with others, if I can be pinpointedly specific, person to person, event to event, it gives me happiness and satisfaction to be present only in the present and not get carried away by the past or by anything influential just because I think so. This takes us to the cause side rather than the results side. This somehow becomes a habit, and every time you have to respond, you take a pause and think not why this happened, rather than that, what made this happen and what can I do so that this can be changed. This helps one as a person to jump from the effect side, the result side, to the cause side. And when you operate, when you work, when you be on the cause side, you are different from others, because you then think of everything as a factor that can be changed so that results can be changed. When you operate from the cause side, you do not react, you respond, and the brain remains free of entanglements. A brain that is conditioned or put into a habit of working in this manner works at a higher level of thinking. Not only that, it works on a creative level of thinking, and here is where the productivity and the performance level of the brain rises multifold. And how do we do it, friends? That's only two words. It's let go. Let go of what has happened till now. Let go of the person's behavior till now. Just hold on with the perception that I will look at it as a reality, apart from attaching any of my filters. I will deal with the event as a reality and respond to it from the reality. To conclude, I would like to share a wonderful quote. If you do what you have been doing till today and the way that you have been following to do it till today, you will keep on getting what you have been getting till today. So, if you want to get something new, please do something new in a new way, so that you who are so deserving and worthy of getting something new will definitely get which you are deserving. This brings us to the end of today's session about brain communication model. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and ideas with the complete team. I offer my special gratitude to Team IIU, who made it possible and who has brought so many people around the world on one platform, that is IIU. Thank you.